If you got bitten by the bug when you were a child, then one of your heroes was Dean Jones. The number 53 is significant to you. This was your favorite toy as a child, and you probably still have it. Then you knew that one day, when you grew up, you were going to have a Herbie of your own. Herbie never stops making people smile and feel happy. Throughout the decades, this car's personality continues to radiate. My yearning to own him myself never faded the whole time when I was growing up. I've always known that one day I'll have a Herbie too. I've known for a long time that I was always going to move to the west side of the Atlantic, so I was going to wait till then. Herbie is a left-hand drive car, and I wanted him to be movie accurate. I was going to wait until we lived in a place that had room for a large garage or a shop so that there was the facility to work on it. Meanwhile, I kept seeing VW Beetles get more expensive and fewer and far between. I figured I might have to drive hundreds of miles to get him and bring him home on a trailer. But just like in the movies, Herbie comes into your life when you aren't really expecting it. This video marks the day that I found him and brought him home. Before I show you, I just wanted to tell you about the time I had at the 50th anniversary of the first movie, which aired in 1969. It was an epic time. I'd met many other like-minded friends. They'd been bitten by the bug and they brought their cars to the event. I met this guy, Little Paco, played by Joaquin Garay. I got to drive this one around quite a bit. This one featured on the bonus DVD. Then the most famous one, Junkie, the original screen-used car. Here he is drunk on Irish coffee with angled spaces on the wheels to create the wobble. This is Junkie being knocked off the track, which might be the shot where he sustained some of the damage. It was then painted yellow with those angled spaces back on the wheels for the army scene in Herbie Rides Again. After this movie ended in 1974, the car just sat there up until around 2014, when a very dedicated individual lovingly stripped off the yellow paint to reveal his love bug identity from the first movie, then got him to start and got him to drive once again. The car, now owned by another very dedicated individual, brought him along to the 50th. I had the privilege of riding in the back of him for about 2.5 hours on one of the cruises. It was awesome. Watch what happens at the traffic light.
Original movie car!
On the last day of the event, on his 50th birthday, I got behind the wheel of it.
It's cool, it's crooked. It'll stick out. That's good.
And there's actually there's no handbrake, so just kill it and leave it in first gear. Hey!
Wow, I've just driven and the original screen-used Herbie, nicknamed Junkie, and this is quite surreal. I've watched this car do these things and get banged up before I was ever born, and I watched him from childhood and I've watched him for the years. Now I'm just driven him, and wow, I haven't got the words to tell you what this feels like right now. Good job, Herbie.
Yeah.
You know what Alex is? You know what Alex
I think, oh, she went to get something out of the trailer. She'll be right back.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Herbie. Happy birthday to you.
Later that evening, I wasn't done.
And that car right there, that's the real one used in the movie. For real? Yeah.
You can imagine how this experience fueled my yearning to have a Herbie of my own. fast forward 2 years when I wasn't looking yet. This one came up on Marketplace just a few miles from where I live, and for a price that I'd never seen so affordable. I showed my wife the listing and said that it's just the wrong timing right now. We don't have anywhere inside to keep him and fix him up. But she encouraged me to go and look at him anyway. I just couldn't let this one slip through my fingers. As it happened, just the week before, we had decided to move my wife's old Mercedes along. Can you believe someone bought that and sent it to Africa?
First start in 2 years. Still got life. And it's off to Africa. You serve someone well there, Mercedes.
So this gave us some room on the top of the drive to be able to put the Beetle and put our other cars behind it. It was worth keeping him under a cover until such time as we moved to a place where we had a facility. I didn't know about this Beetle tow bar. I didn't even need a tow truck. I could just drag him home behind my Lincoln. Bonus!
How does it feel?
It feels great. It's so exciting. Herbie's on the back. And now we're bringing him home. I wanted Herbie since I first saw Herbie when I was a kid, very young kid. Now I got him.
He's home! Now this is a 67 model. He will need backdating to make a screen accurate Herbie. So I'll be on the lookout for earlier model front fenders, headlights, deck lid and apron. The 67s were big window cars. Now Herbie sometimes appears in the movies as a backdated big window car. I've always liked the way he looked in Montecarlo, especially as he drives up this mountain. This particular car is a big window car, so therefore I can model him off this one, and I've got my screen accurate Montecarlo Herbie just like I always wanted. He will ultimately need a body off restoration. At least one new floor pan, heater channels. The engine turns by hand, so it's not seized. I would love to be able to have him at the 60th in 2029. So I have a bit of time. Meanwhile, at the back of the house, I was in the middle of expanding the slabbed area. We were going to get rid of that plastic shed and put a bigger one there. Then I had a brainwave. Push the metal shed into the area where I just laid those slabs. Now there's enough room for one of those canvas car shelters from Costco. This one was a quarter of the price of some of the other ones of this size, 10 foot wide, 20 foot long. It's designed for a large SUV or pickup truck. Herbie will fit in here with enough room to work on him a lot more than I originally thought. I reckon I've even got enough height to lift the body off. So my plan is just keep working on him, little by little, and do as much as I can in here until we move to a bigger place. It took me around 5 hours to put this shelter up. Then it took me around 5 hours the next day to put the floor in. I got these 3/4 inch thick rubber mats. I was so excited building this for Herbie. 3 weeks ago I didn't expect to have Herbie or a shop yet. All of a sudden, here we are. It's quite sheltered from the wind here, behind the house and under the tree. Snug as a bug in a rug. Put the fence back up. Nobody knows he's round there. Except you, because I just told you. The only history we have on this car is that the guy I bought it from got it just like this and didn't do anything with it for 2 years. The guy he got it from was going to fix it up, and he also didn't do anything with it. Before then, we don't know anything about where it came from or when it was last running. There's something I'm very curious about though. I noticed this as we were pushing it in here. Look at that handwritten number 17 on the inside of the door. That was behind where the upholstery would be, so even if that was written a long time ago, it wouldn't have necessarily faded.
Doesn't that make your mind start firing off some random thoughts? A lot of those movie cars are unaccounted for. They're assumed to be scrapped. This one has no history.
I've seen pictures of original movie cars with handwritten ID numbers in conspicuous places just like that. Now the idea that this could possibly be one of the lost movie cars that previously borrowed backdated parts for the film is extremely far-fetched, as exciting as it might be. It looks like this car started out tan-coloured, then it might have been green before it was grey. I just had to take a close look at some of the cars used in the army scene in Herbie Rides Again to see if there were any big Windows 67s amongst them in any of those colours. Well, I think I can make some out.
It's highly unlikely, but I'll always be able to say, you just never know, do you? Well, that's all for now, but I'll be posting updates as I make progress with him. See you all soon.